HYPERCHARGE Unboxed is a 4-player horde shooter and online PvP title that lets you control action figures fighting other toys. It's competent, it's pretty, and unfortunately I found it to be rather boring. Let's get into why in the XboxEra review of HYPERCHARGE Unboxed. Conveying its basic story through a comic book style, having still images be panned over as cutscenes, HYPERCHARGE Unboxed story is pretty forgettable for me. Generic names, kinda weak voiceovers, and sometimes annoyingly goofy music play as you go from one horde level to another. There's 14 of them in total, and while they do have a really nice variety of locales on offer, I found the base gameplay barely changes throughout the entire experience. At the start of each round, you will jump, double jump, and climb around the environment to get coins. Those coins give you points to build up to 3 different types of fortifications. Levels are real-life inspired locations where kids would play with their toys. You, as a toy-sized character, feel tiny, and it is the best part of the game, because graphically it all looks really nice, and you'll spend a few minutes either with bots or up to 3 friends as you place your chosen defenses and or look for weapon upgrades and secrets. Once you put your build mode down, it's time to fight off multiple waves of enemies, and after the first wave, I knew I was going to struggle to get through this entire game. And it's not that there's anything bad here. There's not a single part of this game that's done poorly, it's just that none of it ever really reaches good to great either. It's fine. Playing on a Series X, the controls rely heavily on magnetizing you to enemies instead of having good feeling aim acceleration. Again, it's not terrible, but it's stiff, and no matter how much I tried to change it, things never felt good. But customization is a huge part of the experience. You can change your toy's appearance, and will have to work for specific goals in each level to unlock it all. It's a real solid carrot on a stick, and the art style on the toys, while a bit generic, looks nice and clean. Enemy variety again is fine. There's not a ton of it, but just enough to keep things interesting as you play through. Though the Beyblade-inspired enemies are some of the most frustrating I've ever played in a shooter, as the game features a lot of flying enemies, and your default weapon's just not very accurate for them. Another big gripe for me is how whenever you use an iron sight, nearly everything becomes ridiculously out of focus. I found myself hip-firing more often than not because I couldn't see shit when I held down the left trigger to gain a little bit of zoom. During each match, you'll gain currency after killing enemies and finding coins. You'll use that to buy more defenses, fix broken ones, or buy weapon upgrades. If you die mid-match, you need to go back and find that weapon or all of those upgrades are lost, and I'm not a fan of that. Multiple defenses feel completely useless as well, like I built a little tiny plastic box fortification that was meant to let me shoot enemies from it inside safely. The height of the area to see through was too low in either first or third person mode, which you can change between by pressing the B button, and enemies would just fly around behind and shoot me in the ass repeatedly anyways. On the PvP side of things, I was able to get a few games in against a handful of opponents, and it's not bad. Again, it's a little generic and it didn't hold my attention for very long. Perhaps on PC, the game plays well enough to feel more intense. On console, the aim assist just means you need to vaguely get your reticle near something, and then it locks on them like an old Xbox or 360 title. Graphically, when it's in focus, the game looks really good. The art design on the toys and the look of the levels evokes tons of nostalgic feelings. There's enough variety in locations, enemy types, and especially customization options for your character that I could see a completionist needing 20 or 30 hours to get it all. Audio-wise, I didn't really like the voice acting. It was kind of like a mediocre Saturday morning cartoon level, which I'm not shocked with the probable budget level of this game. I'm not a big fan of the kind of goofy music, so that wasn't for me at all, but if you don't mind it again, it's well done enough to sound fine in the end. Wrapping things up, I think HYPERCHARGE Unboxed's biggest strength has been its excellent marketing over the years. They're not going for some crazy live service title that is your forever game. Base title's $30, and if you have friends to play with, you'll get at least a week or 2 of fun out of the campaign as you try and unlock everything. It's never bad, it's never great, it's fine.